Hey everyone, today I have a total body HIIT workout for you that is going to take you just under 30 minutes to complete, 28 and a half minutes to be exact. This workout uses the same structure as last week's workout and a very similar structure to the workouts I've been posting pretty much all month or so. Now in January, I will start throwing in some different structures here, but since you all seem to love these so much, I figured we would just round out the year with one more of these. This workout is broken up into 3 circuits. In each circuit, I'm going to give you 3 exercises and you are going to go through them 4 times, alternating between sides of your body. So it'll be right, left, or left, right. So in total, you will do 2 sets of the circuit on each side of your body. We're going to use an interval structure of 30 seconds of work, 10 seconds of rest. When you complete a set of 3 exercises, you get to rest for 30 seconds. And when you complete an entire circuit, you get to rest for 60 seconds. For equipment, you are going to need a heavy kettlebell. We're going to do a lot of single arm stuff with it, so I'd say the heaviest you should go with the kettlebell is whatever weight you swing. You might want to go a little lower than that though. I'm going to use a 20-pound kettlebell, and just to give you an idea, usually when I swing, I like to use like a 30 or even 35-pound weight. You're also going to need a set of medium dumbbells, whatever medium means to you. I'm going to use a pair of 8-pound weights because we are going to be doing some shoulder rotation stuff, and I like to go a little lighter for those, but you could go anywhere, even up to 15 pounds for those. Before each circuit, I'm going to give you a preview of the exercises, and I will also show you how to modify them if you're looking for a gentler version or want to take out some of the impact. That being said, a great way to modify all of these, just use lighter weights. As with all workouts, you want to make sure you're properly warmed up beforehand and always listen to your body, modifying or stopping as needed. I have 2 warm-ups on my channel if you want a guided one that I've linked to below. If the recovery time I'm giving you throughout this workout is not enough, you can also always pause the video, give yourself a longer time to recover between sets or even between circuits. If you're new to my channel, I don't play music in the background because I want you to be able to listen to whatever you like. So if you don't have a playlist or a podcast or a TV show queued up, you might want to get that going. And with all that said, let's get to the preview of our first 3 exercises. Start with a lunge hop and a row. Now this is important. Your left foot is forward. The row is going to happen with your right hand, okay? You're doing the opposite as me. That's going to make sense when I turn to face the camera, okay? So your left foot is forward. You're in a low lunge, big hinge forward. Right hand grabs the weight. Give me 1 row, 1 lunge hop. So with your torso, you have a big hinge forward. You're not hunching though, okay? So you're low through the legs. Think about keeping your chest broad across the collarbones. When you do that row, the right elbow drives up to the ceiling, slightly drawing your shoulder blade into center, but without puffing out through your rib cage. So core is active. Ten seconds to rest. We're going to come into a curtsy, to a low squat, to a stand. Rack that weight on your left shoulder. Your left foot stays stationary. You're going to mirror me. So step your right foot back into that curtsy, step into your low squat, and then stand. When you stand, you're bringing your hips forward, squeezing your bum, but without dumping into the low back. So core is bracing, draw your navel to your spine. Low curtsy, low squat, then stand. Ten seconds to rest. We're going to grab both of our medium weights now. We are going to come into a deadlift with a tap of the toes. Your left foot is going to be stationary. So you're going to tilt forward, picture your body as like a seesaw with that left leg as your base. Your right leg extends long behind you. So picture from the top of your head to that back right foot is one long line. Hold the balance position and then tap your right toes down to the floor, lift them back up, and then you stand. Now, let's pay attention to our left side. Soft bend to the knee. Do not lock out your left leg. Keep your hips square to the floor. So when you tilt forward, I want you to think of drawing your right hip down in line with your left hip. Slow and controlled with these. Balance is part of the challenge. Okay, you have a full 30 seconds to rest now. First set is done. We're going to go through that 3 more times. And remember, we alternate sides. So the left leg was just our focus. Now we are going to switch and have the right leg as our focus. So let's start setting up for that lunge hop with that row. This time your right foot is going to be forward. Your left hand is going to grab that kettlebell. Big hinge forward with the torso, long spine. 1 row. 1 lunge hop. If the lunge hop is getting to be too much, then you just do a stationary lunge. So keeping your feet planted as they are, you would just straighten the knees and then bend them back down low. Final few seconds. 10 seconds to rest. All right, right leg is still the focus. You're going to rack that weight on your right shoulder. Right foot is going to stay stationary. You're mirroring me. So step your left foot back into that low curtsy lunge. Whoop, hit the couch. Low curtsy lunge, step to that low squat and stand. You really want to challenge the weight on this one, okay? So if these feel easy, if you are not challenged, you need to go up in weight. When you move between that curtsy and that low squat, you're keeping weight in that right heel. Okay, and 10 seconds to rest. Grab both of your medium weights. We're going to do that deadlift with the tap. So your right foot is planted. Left leg's going to extend long behind you. You tilt forward, balancing, tap your left toes down and back up, and then stand. So as you do this, let's make sure that we are not hunching through our shoulders. So slide the shoulder blades down your spine, broad across the collarbones. Keep the weight in tight towards your legs. So notice when I tilt forward, the weights aren't hanging under my shoulders. They're tight in towards that right shin. That's going to help with balance. Okay, you have 30 seconds to rest. You're at the halfway point. We are going to repeat that circuit once more on each side. So we're going to go back to targeting the left leg. Again, it's your left leg. I know I'm doing the other side, but that is so that I mirror you when I turn to face the camera. So pay attention to my verbal cues. Right hand is going to grab your weight. You're in that low lunge position, big hinge forward with the torso, 1 row with your right elbow, 1 lunge hop. That left foot is forward. Now, in the lunge hop, you want to make sure that your left knee is staying over the heel. It's not jutting out in front of the toes. So if you were to look down at your left foot at any point during this exercise, you should be able to see the toes. You have about 10 seconds to go. Ten seconds to rest. We're going to rack that weight on our left shoulder. We're going to do that curtsy to low squat stand. Your left foot is staying stationary, so right foot's going to step back. Low curtsy, low squat, drive the hips forward, stand. So when you stand up, think about making a fist with your butt cheeks, okay? It's a weird cue. I use it all the time, but that's really the visual I want. You're squeezing your bum at the top, hips come forward, abs in tight. Ten seconds to rest. Let's grab those lighter weights. We're going to come into that deadlift with the tap. So your left foot is stationary, right leg will extend long behind you. When you tilt forward, you're leading with your chest, not the top of your head. And what I mean by that is we are not hunching, we're not rounding forward. Nice long spine as we do this. Let's check in on that left leg. There's a soft bend to the knee. It is not locked out. Your hips are square to the floor, so you're drawing the right hip down in line with the left. If you keep your hips square, you're going to feel this more effectively in the back of the leg and the hamstrings. If we roll open through the hips, you don't get as much of that targeted hamstring activation. All right, you have 30 seconds to rest. Final time through this circuit coming up. Right leg will be the focus. Let's start making our way into position. So the weight is on your left side because your left hand is going to be doing the row. Your right foot is forward. We find that low lunge position, both knees bent. Big hinge forward with the torso. Roll your shoulder blades down your spine. And one row, one lunge hop. So your goal is to stay active through the entire 30-second interval. If form is getting sloppy, slow it down or take out the jump, but I want continuous work. You have just over 10 seconds to go. You got this. 10 seconds to rest. You have 2 more work intervals to go. Let's rack that weight on our right shoulder. Your right foot is going to be stationary. You're going to step your left foot back behind you, low curtsy. Oop, hit the couch again. Low squat, and then stand. So as you do this, your knee is tracking forward, kind of in line with your middle toes, even when you do the curtsy and your legs are crossed, okay? Ten seconds to rest. Let's grab those light weights, or lighter, I should say. Going to come into that deadlift hinge. Right foot is planted. Left leg will hover behind you. Tilt forward, keeping your hips square to the floor. Tap that back left foot down and up, and then stand. Half the challenge of this one, balance. So don't rush through these. I don't care how many reps you get in. I want controlled quality reps. When you tap the back foot down, try to just make it a light tap and a lift. I don't want you to shift weight into that foot. And done. You have a full 60 seconds to rest while I show you our next 3 exercises. Make your way to the floor in a glute bridge position, and the weight is going to be in your left hand. Just like the previous circuit, it's going to be your left hand. I'm doing the opposite so that I mirror you when I turn to camera. All right, 2 chest presses, down and up, and then 1 glute bridge, lower the hips, lift them back up. In this glute bridge, weight is in your heels. You're squeezing through the seat. You're not hyperextending through the low back, so your core is bracing, draw your navel to your spine. When you do these chest presses, it should be heavy, okay? So use your heavy kettlebell if you can. If it's too much weight with the single arm exercise, though, you can always drop to using one of those lighter dumbbells instead. 10 seconds to rest. Stay on the floor. We're going to flip around into a plank position. You are going to have 1 weight in your left hand. We're going to do 4 crossbody mountain climbers, and then you're going to slide the weight in your left hand across to your opposite right foot, sticking your butt up to the ceiling, kind of like a down dog. So when I say 4 crossbody mountain climbers, that's 4 each side, so 8 total. When you draw the weight towards your opposite foot, don't lift it up off the floor, okay? I really want you to have to drag it. If this feels too easy, then just use your kettlebell instead. 10 seconds to rest. Okay, you're going to need both dumbbells. You're going to stand up and you're going to find a hammer curl hold. The left arm is going to do 2 hammer curls up. And then you're going to rotate open, peeling the forearms apart. Bring them back. So the left side, 2 hammer curls, peel both forearms apart, maintaining that 90-degree bend at the elbows. So when you do that rotation open, you're squeezing your shoulder blades together. We're not puffing out through the rib cage though. Your core needs to stay bracing. So I want you to knit the ribs in. Anytime you do standing arm work, you want a soft bend of the knees. That way we don't lock out and hyperextend into that low back. Okay, 30 seconds to rest. We're going to repeat that this time with the right arm as the focus. So we'll make our way back down to the floor into that hip bridge position. This time that heavy weight is going to be on your right side. If the kettlebell is too much, just drop down, use one of the dumbbells. All right, let's get into position. After you push that weight up to the ceiling, let's drive our shoulders down into the floor. Lift your hips up into that bridge position, 2 chest presses, and then 1 hip bridge, lower and lift. Now, when I do a chest press, I want you to picture if you were doing a push-up. So your elbow isn't going straight out to the side like a goalpost. It's more like a 45-degree angle. Think kind of like a chicken wing, okay? Or just that 45-degree angle you do if you were doing push-ups. Let's ditch that heavyweight, flip over into your plank position. You're going to keep a weight in your right hand. I'm using the dumbbell. If this is too easy, though, switch back to that heavy kettlebell. If you are going to drag the kettlebell, I would flip it onto its side. It's going to make it easier to slide. So 4 crossbody mountain climbers, 8 total, 4 each side. And then you stick your hips up to the ceiling as you drag that weight to your opposite foot. So we want to get the heart rate up in this. Keep those mountain climbers quick, but I actually care more about range of motion than speed. So I want you bringing the knee as close to touching your elbow as possible. Let's make our way up to standing. You're going to need both weights. Chest is broad, abs in tight, soft bend to the knees. Find that hammer curl hold. Your right arm is going to do 2 hammer curls and then both forearms peel apart. So 2 hammer curls just on the right side, peel apart. Even though we're focusing on the right side, that left arm is absolutely working, maintaining that curl position. If it is too much, then you can always lower that left arm down to hang by your side while you're doing the hammer curl on the right side. 30 seconds to rest. You are at the halfway point. We are going through this twice more, once on each side. So as I'm sure you've noticed, that previous circuit was lower body focus. Now we're focusing more upper body and core. Final circuit will be total body. If you're not already, let's make our way to the floor in that glute bridge position. Your left hand is going to have the weight, okay? 2 chest press with that left arm, 1 hip bridge, lift and lower. So drive it up, lower, drive it up, and then hips lower and lift up. So your heels are stacked under those knees. And I want you to notice in this hip bridge, where is the tension? If you are clenching your low back angrily like a fist, then we got to switch the focus a little bit. So draw your navel in towards the spine. Focus on driving your heels into the floor and squeezing into your seat. So again, the picture making fists with your butt cheeks. We're going to roll into a plank, stay down on the floor. The weight is going to be in your left hand. I'm going to switch to a dumbbell, but feel free to use that kettlebell. If you use the kettlebell, push it onto its side so it's easier to drag. 4 crossbody mountain climbers each side, and then we're going to do a toe touch, dragging that weight to the opposite foot. Now, when you're doing the mountain climbers, hips are staying right around shoulder height. Final few seconds here. 10 seconds to rest. We're going to stand it up. You're going to need both of those dumbbells. We find that hammer curl hold, so that 90-degree angle, elbows in tight towards our sides. 2 hammer curls on the left, and then both forearms peel apart. So it's kind of like a reverse fly, but it's just a rotation, all right? We keep the elbows in tight towards the side of our body. When we do this tight rotation open, you're squeezing the shoulder blades together. Your chest is nice and broad, but we're not countering it by puffing out through the rib cage. So our core is staying really active, knitting the ribs together. "30 seconds to rest. We have one more time through that circuit. Focus will be on the right arm. Start making your way down to your mat. Knees are bent, heels under knees. Right arm is going to be doing the chest presses. So we're holding the weight in our right hand. Left arm can come by our side on the floor for support. Let's lift those hips up. 2 chest presses, right arm, and then lift and lower those hips. And again, if this is bothering your shoulder at all, first of all, you can always drop down and wait. Second, just think about bringing the elbow down at a 45-degree angle. So it's not in line with your shoulder. It's a little closer to the rib cage. Picture the alignment you would have if you were doing a push-up. 10 seconds to rest. We're going to flip over into that plank position. Right hand grips the weight. 4 sets of crossbody mountain climbers. So that's opposite knee to opposite elbow, firing up through the obliques. And then you're going to drag that right hand towards your left foot. Try not to lift the weight off the floor. It's a dragging motion. If it is too easy using the dumbbell, use that kettlebell. You have just about 10 seconds to go. Pickles is like, what are you doing? Ten seconds to rest. You have one final work interval in this circuit. Let's grab both of those weights. We stand up. Find that hammer curl hold, and then your right arm is going to do 2 hammer curls. You peel both forearms apart. So we're just doing the top half of that hammer curl. You return it to the 90 degrees. So it's just up to your shoulder, peel those forearms apart. Let's make sure we're not dumping into our low back. So you want a neutral pelvic bone. So low abs are active, drawing up. It's not a tuck though. Soft bend to the knees. And done. You have 60 seconds to rest. I'm going to show you our final 3 exercises. We have a shoulder press in a stationary lunge position, and I want you to do the same side as me, okay? Your right foot is going to be forward. The weight is in your left hand. Find your low lunge position, and from here, you're going to do a shoulder press at the bottom, and then when you do your second shoulder press, you straighten the legs. So it's 1 shoulder press down low, and then an explosive shoulder press, straightening the legs as you drive that weight up overhead. Now, I'm going heavy with the weight on this one, and I want you to really challenge yourself as well. That being said, if you notice that you're dumping into your low back, go lighter immediately, okay? I don't want you to sacrifice form for the weight. 1 shoulder press in that low lunge hold. Rest. 10 seconds here. Okay, we are now going to come into a burpee with a knee drive. When you do the knee drive, your right foot will stay stationary and you'll bring your left knee up into your chest. So lower your chest to the floor, hop to your low squat, and then you are going to drive the left knee up, shifting your weight into that right leg. You can do any version of a burpee you'd like, so if you don't want to lower your chest to the floor, feel free to do a push-up instead, or just jump to a plank to modify. Ten seconds to rest. We're going to come into squat clean. So you're going to grab that kettlebell. This one is centered, okay? We're not isolating sides. So you're going to sit into a low squat position, grab that weight. As you drive up, you're going to clean that kettlebell. Give me one squat, down and up, and then return to the floor. So I want you to move as continuously as possible through the 30 seconds. This should be really challenging, okay? So by the end, you should be out of breath. Now, when you tap that weight down to the floor, you're getting it low by sinking low through your legs, not by rounding forward through your upper body. So let's make sure we're keeping our chest lifted, brought across the collarbones. All right, you have 30 seconds to rest. We'll start at the top. And again, not to be confusing, but since I am facing the side for both of these single leg exercises, I think it's just easier for you to do the same leg as me. So coming up, it'll be right leg focus. Nope, sorry. Delete that. So coming up, it's going to be left leg focus, right arm focus. So find your lunge position with your left foot forward, right foot back. Weight is in your right hand. One shoulder press at the bottom, and then straighten the legs as you do that second shoulder press. So we're just alternating. Explosive, hold low through the legs. Weight is in that front left heel. When you do that shoulder press overhead, I want you to notice what's going on through your core. If you're puffing out through the ribs and arching into your low back, then you might want to go a little lighter with the weight. I want you to knit the ribs together. 10 seconds to rest. We're going to come into that burpee. This time when we stand, we will stand on the left leg. You'll drive your right knee into your chest. So one burpee of your choice. You don't have to do chest to floor. And then stand up on that left side, shifting the weight into your left leg, driving your right knee up. So when you do this, first hop into that low squat position, bring your hands off the floor, and then stand and do the knee drive. Ten seconds to rest. You're going to need that kettlebell. Squat cleans coming up. So start with the kettlebell in between your feet. Feet are about shoulder widths apart. You're going to sink down into a low squat, keeping your chest lifted. Clean, squat, reverse it, tap that weight back down to the floor. If you're new to cleans, or this is just too hard, then just do a goblet squat instead, okay? We'll keep the weight at our chest and just squat down and up. Either works. In this third circuit, the final exercise is centered because when we get to the end, I don't want you ending on one side. I want you to kind of tie it together. Woo, 30 seconds to rest. We're at the halfway point in this circuit. We're going to go through that twice more, alternating sides. Let's start getting ready for that shoulder press. Your right leg is going to be forward. Your left hand has the kettlebell. You find a low lunge position. Both knees are bent. The feet stay stationary, one shoulder press down low, and then one explosive shoulder press, straightening the legs as you drive it up. I'm going heavy with the weight, and I want you to go heavy as well. Don't go so heavy that you sacrifice form, though. So if you are holding your breath as you do this, I want you to think about exhaling during the shoulder press, okay? So as you exhale, you knit the ribs together. 10 seconds to rest. Body weight exercise on this one is going to be that burpee. And then when you stand up, you're going to shift the weight into your right leg, driving the left knee up and towards your chest. So when you hop up, your feet are in a wide position in that low squat. So you're sort of shifting your weight over to the side as you do the knee up, and then shift it back over to the other side as you land back in that low wide squat position. 10 seconds to rest. We got squat cleans coming up next. So form is always priority on these, but if you can do so while maintaining proper form, quick pace on these, all right? How many reps can you get in 30 seconds? If you go at a quicker pace, these are going to be really challenging. By the end, you should be completely out of breath. It is strength training, yes, but it is cardio as well. Now, when you do the clean, picture you're zipping up a jacket so that weight stays in close to your body. It comes right up your midline as you flip your elbows in tight and rest. So you have 30 seconds here. We're going through those 3 exercises one final time, and then you are done with this workout. Let's start making our way into position. So you're in a split lunge position with your left foot forward. Weight is in your right hand. Low lunge position, give me a shoulder press at the bottom, and then drive up through those legs, straightening them as you do another shoulder press. Weight is staying in that front heel. Core is working, okay? You gotta stay active and bracing through that midsection. Final few seconds, try to get in at least 2 more reps. 10 seconds to rest. Okay, ditch the weights. We are coming into that burpee. When we stand, we will shift weight into our left leg, driving the right knee up in towards our chest. If you are doing a modified version and you have some energy to burn, I want you to take a harder version, okay? So maybe if you were just jumping to plank, let's do chest to floor, add in a push-up. Final few seconds here. Let's do it. 10 seconds to rest. Okay, final work interval coming up. We got those squat cleans, or if you're newer to cleans or they are just a little too hard, I want you to do goblet squats instead. Either way though, let's use that weight right to the end. If it's too much, you can always drop a little lighter, but I want you using a weight for these final 20-ish seconds. So let's go. When you bring that weight to the floor, remember, you're bringing it to the floor not by rounding through your spine, but through sitting low through the lower body. So hips slide down and back, weight in your heels, keep your chest lifted, broad across the collarbones, core is active. You got this. Final few seconds. And done. Awesome work. Hope you enjoyed this workout. If you did, you know the drill. Give this video a thumbs up, share it with your friends, and if you haven't already, be sure to subscribe to my channel. I post new workouts here every Monday. This is the last one of 2019. I will see you guys in January.